How are we supposed to care that Max got stabbed if we didn't build this up and then see it with our own eyes? How can we feel the stakes if you are telling us all the time instead of showing us all the time? What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? The show has returned after it went away because of the March Madness tournament last Thursday and Friday. You know, as much as we complain about the show being boring lately, CBS decided to replace it with something even more boring, and that was the first round of the college basketball tournament. Today, the show returns, and definitely a mixed bag of an episode, I would say. Not gonna lie, when the show first started, and we went from Anita's cancer storyline right into Joey and Trash together, I almost wanted to turn it off because I didn't think I was gonna enjoy the episode. Some of the stuff got better as the episode went along. I do have to say, I feel as though Bill was the standout again today after he was the last time the show aired last Wednesday. I feel as though Timon, who plays Bill, is doing a very good job with showing Bill's authentic grief towards this situation with Anita and Anita's cancer. And it started with him visiting Dani today, Bill giving some crap to Dani because he's thinking Andre's going to be there or come in and see them together and set boundaries. Bill was kind of mocking Andre's boundaries that Andre has set with him lately, now that Andre and Dani are married. Dani stood up for Andre, who is apparently out of town. Dani saying that Andre is the man of the house, and even though she didn't do the same for Bill, which Bill called out all the times Dani came over giving Haley grief, Dani says this is her place and she doesn't want Bill talking about Andre in a shit-talking way, basically. Bill stopped by, though, to talk about Anita and asking Dani, it's bad, huh? And he's talking about how it was so hard for him to see the Ice Queen, Anita, in such a bad way. Bill talked about seeing Anita in that condition, and the variant that Dani has inherited has basically shaken Bill, and that led to a Dani and Bill hug. Bill did apologize, saying he shouldn't have come over to unload all of this on her, but I think Dani liked the visit too. Dani had some grief of her own she needed to get off of her chest. She broke down a little bit when she talked about how she's been holding Anita's hand and trying to comfort Anita while she is going through this rough cancer stuff. And they also talked about Bill putting a stop for now to Leslie's shouse, thanks to it being 1 inch over. So it was a good conversation between Bill and Dani. I still believe that their story is by far the most well-layered story on the entire show. It did devolve towards the end of their meeting when Bill did his usual stuff where he starts reminiscing about the past with Dani. Bill still seeing what he lost with Dani, even though it was all his fault. And even though Bill probably only wants Dani back because she has actually moved on from him with Andre. Then Bill went to work, was distracted when Caroline was trying to go over his docket because she was bringing up stuff like Batman and Wonder Woman to make sure that Bill wasn't paying attention, which he wasn't. And then we got a good line from Bill saying he wishes that there was a way he could fix this. You know, Bill is supposed to be the fixer and all, but he just can't magically fix Anita's cancer. And Bill got emotional about that again, and Caroline had to give him a pep talk. But good scenes with Bill again today. Anita was really going through it today. She is getting weaker. She kept dropping things, and Vernon was trying to help. And Vernon asked her if there's anything he can do for her, and she says he can put her out of her misery. In today's episode, we got a lot of Anita not wanting to keep going through chemo because she's just feeling worse and worse, which is something that definitely really happens with chemo. Anita is saying that she's tired and she feels like this is a battle she can't win and she's tired of trying. And Vernon got upset, saying, "How dare you say that to me?" He had to apologize for his outburst, but he doesn't like hearing her talk that way, obviously. But as Anita told him, she's the one that is going through this. It's all happening to her. And Vernon was trying to tell her that going through this is buying her more time with loved ones, but Anita had some good points that all of these loved ones are looking at her with despair and pity. And I did feel for Anita in these scenes. I also felt for Vernon. They've been doing good anytime they do these grief scenes with Anita. It doesn't look like Bill's pep talk the other day helped Anita want to fight again. She seems to be feeling worse. Dani called to check on her mother, learning that Anita's having a bad day and that Vernon is still trying to be the strong one. They were good scenes today for those that are able to watch this cancer storyline. I know a lot of you skipped them or fast forward through them, which I can't blame you. Let's move on to the Impaler stuff. Smitty and Jacob started the day in their favorite alley, and Smitty is worried about Jacob risking his life, but Jacob still wants to prove himself, that he's doing a good job undercover for his daddy, even though he's not doing a good job undercover at all. The big deal today was that Smitty's informant, Max, was impaled, basically. He was stabbed today because of this whole situation. Which, here's my problem, and this is why the storyline is struggling to find stakes. It happened off screen. Like, everything big can't happen off screen. Ever since we got the new co-head writer in the fall, there's just been more and more stuff happening off screen, and it's a major blunder. How are you supposed to have stakes for this storyline? How are we supposed to care that Max got stabbed if we didn't build this up and then see it with our own eyes? How can we feel the stakes if you are telling us all the time instead of showing us all the time? Major blunder again in this storyline. Instead of having Leslie running around like a cartoon gnat last week, annoying people for no good reason with no good motivation, we could have saw a build to Max getting stabbed. Maybe we would have cared more. Or instead of seeing Trash and Joey today for the 100th time have a similar conversation, maybe we could have seen today Max actually get stabbed. But no, we have to be told about it instead of see it. But anyway, Smitty was very upset about this because his informant is hurt, and Smitty thinks it's because of this. So Smitty went to the hospital to go see Max as Wren came to see Rashad, aka Jacob, saying that Jacob looks scared and spooked, and apparently Jacob told Wren that he knew what happened to Max, and Wren told Jacob the only way out of this business is in a body bag. Smitty went to the hospital, and Max is still alive for now, but I guess Wren is probably going to try and send some people to finish the job. Max said that Wren is the one that sent the guy that stabbed him to send a message to him because he tried to get out. So after Wren left, Smitty went back to the alley, which you would think would be weird that he's there again for anyone that sees them. But Smitty told Jacob that Max was stabbed in the abdomen. Smitty said that this is getting out of hand, and they said if it was getting out of hand and getting dangerous, they would pull the plug. Jacob says that Smitty should be the one out because it's dangerous for Smitty, but Smitty said he only goes if Jacob goes too. Jacob says he's too close right now, he can't pull out. So Jacob's going to stay, Smitty's probably going to stay too. It's hard to care, though, because the actual dramatic thing happened off camera, so I still don't feel as though the stakes have actually been raised on this storyline, even though they want to tell us that they have. They need to show us that the stakes have actually been raised. But they didn't today. I'm not going to talk very long about Joey and Trash. I really can't do it anymore. I wish that Deanna was on the show instead. I could watch scenes with Deanna and Vanessa because she's the only one that calls her mom out on shit, but they sent her back out of town. Anyway, Vanessa was doing her freak out thing with Joey today because he's making things so perfect with music and alcohol and a gift, Vanessa was thinking Joey was going to break up with her or some stupid shit. Vanessa said that Joey is selfless, which, whatever. Joey says he wants to hang on to her no matter what the cost. They talked about, I guess they were trying to make us feel sorry for Trash today. I don't know how they expect to do that. You know, the problem with this story is that the storyline setup was Vanessa being a cheating hoe and still being a cheating hoe when her husband died. But now they want us to root for this couple like none of that ever happened, and it doesn't make a lick of sense. It is some really brain dead shit from the writers, in my opinion. They tried to give us a backstory for Vanessa about her and Doug getting together when they were young, and then they had twins, so she had to be a mom all the time, and she lost herself. I don't care. Joey talked about how when his wife cheated on him, he thought he would never put his heart on the line again, but then Vanessa burst into his life. Once again, I don't care. I don't know why the writers are trying to pretend like this is some great soap opera love story. It's a freaking joke. Lastly, June was at least on today, although her hair was not looking good. They had her in a bad wig today. And she was talking to Samantha about the cotillion and about Rude Francesca. Samantha was texting Tyrell asking him if they should invite June to the cotillion and give her a moment. Naomi ended up coming in. I think they talked about the free clinic a little bit, and June and Samantha volunteering together on something. Samantha in the free clinic storyline, even though it was her idea, what a concept. Interesting thing, I guess, at the end was that Wren did show up at Orphe Jean's, and he did seem to be watching June, Samantha, and Naomi. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that was them trying to raise the stakes on the storyline. I still don't think they did a good job of that today. So while there was some good today, thanks to Bill, and thanks to some good acting from Anita and Vernon, the show had a lot of weaknesses, and the show still has to do a much better job with the writing. The main thing they could fix is to start showing us instead of telling us. I think that is the main thing they could fix if they really wanted to. But we'll see how the rest of the week goes. I still think the show is not in the greatest of places.